The trios match was next, or Tony Schiavone's even saying trios now.
He'll say anything you tell him to say.
He could say 6-man tag team match. Is anybody going to fire him? But Chris Jericho, Danny Garcia, The Rock's ex-wife, and Jake Hager against Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz, with that preposterous angle with the airport at the start being the impetus behind this thing. And the whole Jericho now, the sports entertainment thing, and the whole group of jobbers so that it can be all genuflecting about him, and combined with he's supposed to be a heel, but yet he shamelessly panders for him to sing the song. And this whole mess, I was not completely very interested in the match, but Jericho basically hit Kingston with a baseball bat and Garcia pinned him. But then they do an afterbirth. Of course they have to, because it's AEW and every match has one.
This is more Chris Jericho than AEW. This is a Chris Jericho thing. It's happened too many times with the Chris Jericho segments.
The blame goes on Chris Jericho because of all the people doing fake, phony-looking shit. Jericho's was the worst, and I don't know what's happened. But the heels after the match turn around and jump on Kingston. He's in there by himself. The other two have been dispatched. And Jericho starts, I quote, throwing, unquote, quote, punches, unquote, towards the direction of Kingston's head without even a fist clenched and nothing behind him. And there's a camera close-up so you can see this. And then here comes 2.0 or whatever their crisscross is what we'll call them now, I guess. They're in street clothes. They're getting heat. Garcia comes in with the baseball bat, and while Kingston's laying there trying to figure out what to sell or how to sell this shit, Garcia is giving Kingston rib noogies with the bat, just puts the butt of the bat in his ribs and starts turning it back and forth. He's got a baseball bat in his hands, and he's gouging the guy's ribs. And then Jericho says, oh, no, this is the way you do it, and grabs the bat and hits Kingston 3 times with the fakest looking. He's not touching him. One of them Kingston didn't even react to because he didn't see it coming and didn't feel it. Go back, I dare everybody. If you're an AEW hater, if you're an AEW fan, if you're an AEW wrestler, go back and look at the heels heat in this segment and tell me that this did not look like the fakest horse shit that you've ever seen in your life. And everybody involved should be ashamed, including Jericho, of his group's performance. And while this heat was going on where they were hitting him with shit that some of it wasn't anywhere near him, no bell, no referees, nobody trying to stop it, and the work looked phony as fuck. This was embarrassing. And that's all I got to say about that. Do you have any follow-up?
I have 2 thoughts. One, if you remember a few weeks ago, there was the angle where the Inner Circle or the whatever the Japs, whatever they are. What are they?
The Jas. The Jas.
Well, they were
Jewish American Princess Society.
That's exactly who they are. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. They were looking behind curtains. They were looking all over for Kingston and them, and then Kingston and them came out and beat down Jericho and his crew finally. And then in the same angle, Jericho and his crew got their comeback and left them laying, and it went on for a while. The beatdown went on for a long time here. And it was bad, and it's ridiculous, and the people want to see Kingston do something. They don't want to just see him get his ass kicked by Jericho. And if Jericho comes out of this like the MJF feud, where he wins in the end, you know the rib was on. Secondly, did you ever see the movie Kingpin?
Yes.
The bowling movie?
Yes.
Do you remember Big Earn, the Bill Murray character, the way his hair was flopping around?
Yeah.
What the hell's going on with Jericho's hair or weave or whatever the hell it is? It looks so unnatural that I watch him now and I can't take my eyes off his hair. It's like Stan Lane's wig. I said it before with extensions. It looks so bizarre. It's all I can focus on now during these matches is that ridiculous thing on his head, whatever the fuck that is. If he did that just to be a heel, maybe, hey, listen, Jericho is the kind of guy, maybe he was drinking vodka in the hotel room, he was watching Kingpin, he goes, you know what? I'm going to have my hair look ridiculous like that. People will think I'm going bald. Maybe that was it, but that was all I could focus on.
Well, here's an observation. By the way, MJF is pissed and has signed Wardlow to fight the Butcher in the near future. It could have, at least it would, if it had been the Baker, we know he could go up for the power bomb. I'm afraid Wardlow might not be able to get the Butcher's big ass up. But, go ahead.
Can I just say one thing? And this is going to sound nuts, and I've thought about it a few times recently. I think the Butcher is kind of not a missed opportunity, but just been misused. First of all, tying him with the Blade has dragged him down because the Blade.
And the Bunny.
Yeah. And quite frankly, I don't think people care about that. And I think they've been treated like jobbers for a long time. But the other thing is, he actually has size. He looks like he's in better shape now. It's a man who could actually use a monocle. That's a skill. That's a talent. They
got rid of the monocle, though.
They got rid of the monocle. It's the best part of his whole act. But it's a guy he looks like a wrestler. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure if you went into a store and he was there, you'd be like, that guy looks like he could be a wrestler. There could have been more to be done with him. So we'll see next week what it is. But it goes back to the roots, because originally, didn't they pop out of the ring to attack Cody Rhodes at the behest of MJF?
Yes, that's right. Well, and then he paid off whoever he paid off there, MJF.
It's been a lot of payoffs in AEW, if you really think about it.
And you see them on camera to make sure you know that they're happening. But here's the random observation I was going to make. Alex Marvez, Officer Barbrady, is the only interviewer ever in the history of professional wrestling who can come off phony without even speaking one word. He turns and holds the microphone phony, like no human ever would. He's so uncomfortable on television. I wonder if he shits himself every time the red light comes on. He looks like he's being stood up against a fucking wall.
You know what? The other day, I forget what it was. There was some clip I wanted to see from like way back at the beginning of AEW. There was something I was looking for. And it was when Marvez was still on commentary, and I forgot about that.
I did too.
You think he's bad doing this? Go back and listen to any of that. Wow. You can remember why that was one of the first big takeaways from AEW. People forget that now. One of the first big takeaways from anyone's exposure to AEW was they got to get Marvez out of the commentary booth. So I just was reminded of that the other day.